Yo, it's your boy Honcho's House. I'm back with a quick video. So, Maya Jama and the Sidemen have been going back and forth after Maya made a few questionable comments about them. She basically went on Chunkz' podcast and was asked who she prefers out of the Beta Squad and the Sidemen, and she said it's very clearly the Beta Squad as she's closer with them and the Sidemen are not her kind of people, which is her opinion and completely fair enough. But she also referred to them going to private school and having a different upbringing to her, and then said, no offense, well done for being rich. Now, it was hard to work out whether she said well done from being rich or well done for being rich. If she said well done from being rich, it is a bit disrespectful to their work ethic and how far they've came. Like, it takes a lot of time and effort to grind on YouTube day after day for this many years, and that's why they're successful. It's got nothing to do with them going to private school. Even if they went to private school, like, your work ethic is completely different to the school that you went to, or your parents having money. Like, your parents having money's got nothing to do with them grinding on YouTube. Now, the Sidemen have actually responded, and Ethan/Behzinga in particular went mental at Maya and told her to shut up. He said something like he's never uttered a word from her. He said his dad was selling drugs. He had to steal the drugs from his dad to sell them himself. And then they also mentioned how it was only KSI and Simon who went to private school, and KSI said how his parents had to work 2 or 3 jobs just to keep him in private school. Now, we know that Maya's had a very tough upbringing. Like, her boyfriend was murdered years back in an unfortunate accident, not an accident, but an unfortunate event, which is tragic and horrible. Rest in peace to him. And Maya got it out the mud. Like, it's amazing to see how far she's come doing her thing on Love Island and whatnot, especially coming from the gutter or the mud or whatever. And she's actually responded to this whole situation, and she said, as people who talk on podcasts, you should know more than anyone about context. Why are you rattled? I was asked who I prefer and clearly said, I don't know you. I only mentioned private school because Chunkz did earlier, and I said congratulations on being rich, not coming from money. Mind how you're talking though, Ethan. Crazy. Maya and Ethan going back and forth. We're going to see a boxing match. No, I'm joking. But it's good that she cleared up the well done from being rich thing, because like that is disrespectful to say that, if you ask me. But it does still seem like both sides are still rattled, and we probably won't ever see a Maya Jama and Sidemen collab anytime soon. But what I am going to do, I'm going to go into a video from Fezify explaining this whole situation and showing some more clips. Shout out to Fezify. I found the story from him. So let's go into this and play it.
This one was unexpected. Never did I think I would see Maya Jama getting a back and forth with the Sidemen. So basically, she went on Chunkz and showed us how it started, and he asked her who does she prefer out of the Sidemen and Beta Squad, and she's closer with Chunkz, so she said the Beta Squad. That is fine, but she called the Sidemen private school kids, and they took this as disrespect and responded. Let's get into what she said, and we'll talk about it after.
Who do you prefer, Beta Squad or Sidemen?
It's a very clear Beta Squad for me.
Yes!
Wow.
Yeah, it's not even a little guess, but I'm way closer with them lot.
Yeah.
And I like Toby. I get on with Toby, and I get on with KSI.
Yeah.
But I don't really know the rest of them.
Yeah, fair enough.
And they're like just my
not your kind of peeps. Yeah.
But like you said, private school, different upbringing to us.
Yeah, it's just
just
you know
more
what I mean?
relate. That's
yeah,
what
that's,
it is.
that's nothing wrong with
no
it.
offense, they smashed it. Well done from being rich.
Yeah. What?
Sidemen do respond, and one of the members goes off the rails. We'll get into that. But apparently this was kind of out of context, because earlier in it, Chunkz made a joke about it, or something else was said referring to them being private school kids. So she wasn't saying it in a negative way. It was taken out of context, but the Sidemen didn't know that and said this.
Look, if you ask me, I'll get back into the video, but that particular clip, I haven't seen the full video, so obviously it's taken out of context. But from saying like well done for being rich or whatever, does seem a little bit like bitter, if you ask me. It looks a little bit like, yeah, they're not really my kind of people who went private school. Like, yeah, well done for being rich. Like, you're kind of brushing it off a bit, which is a little bit weird, if you ask me. Like, what you salty about the Sidemen being successful for? I don't really understand that. I'm not even saying she is salty, but from that particular clip, it looks a bit salty and a bit bitter. Pause.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about the Maya Jama stuff, then. I can't work out the context of that clip. The Maya Jama stuff.
Oh, congrats on making it from being rich.
That sentence.
Shut up! You've never uttered a word to me. My dad was selling drugs in the alleyway opposite my house. I was stealing the drugs to sell myself. I hate this life, man.
This kind of touched the wrong place for the Sidemen. Ethan was going mad. I don't think he's ever telling Maya Jama to shut up to her face, but Maya Jama has had a trauma upbringing. Obviously, her boyfriend died. She was on the phone to him when it happened. She was saying she's from a different background. I don't think Maya meant this disrespectful when she did reply in the comments saying, as people who talk on podcasts, you should know more than anyone about context. Why are you rattled? That's because obviously Ethan and his girlfriend have a podcast, and obviously the Sidemen have their own thing on their show that they're talking on right now. I was asked who I preferred and clearly said I don't know you. I only mentioned private school because Chunkz did say earlier, congratulations on being rich, not coming from money. Mind how you're talking though, Ethan. KSI went on to clarify.
Yo, the mind how you're talking though, Ethan, is like Maya's showing her background and where she comes from a little bit there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, mind how you're talking, Ethan. Like, who you talking to, bruv? That's the energy she's giving me there. Which is, for me, I do not put Maya Jama in that type of category whatsoever to even be responding to these type of comments, if you ask me. She's on Love Island, bruv. You're talking about who lips who, or, you know, like, who's arguing with who on Love Island. Like, she just doesn't seem like that type of character to me. But then again, when I think about it, the situation with her boyfriend being murdered years back, obviously horrible situation, rest in peace to him. He was obviously from a certain life. Then I'm seeing her with Stormzy after that, who's also from a certain life. Maya's basically a road gal, isn't it? That's basically what it is. She's a road gal who's made it out of the roads onto, you know, being a mainstream presenter, which is like, well done to you. Round of applause, innit? That's sick. But also sometimes you can't take the road out of these people. It still comes out every now and then, and I feel like in this particular situation she's allowing it to come back out, or she's really showing who she really is, you know?
On this podcast, it was only him and Simon that went to private school. I think they met there and started getting into YouTube. Of course, they still had to put in the grind to get successful.
So, did he say Simon?
They met there. KSI went on to clarify on this podcast, it was only him and Simon that went to private school. I think they met there and started getting into YouTube. Of course, they still had to put in the grind to get successful, but he clarified that. They carried on discussing it.
The Sidemen went to private school.
Yeah, legit. It was,
man.
it was literally just me and Simon. That's it.
Well, it's so funny. What a shit clip.
Oh my
Congrats
god.
for making it from being rich. All right.
Bro, my parents had to
was
work
gonna
2-3
say,
jobs
there's an
just to get
assumption.
me into private
Also,
school.
like in you and Simon's defence, there's private schools and then there's private schools.
Yes,
There's
yeah.
schools where kids
Like
walk
Eton.
out of that with every
Yeah.
connection for the
Yes.
entire industry
Yes.
they need. They walk. They
That's
have
where
the
I
keys.
went, bro.
Yeah.
That's where I went.
You went
In
to
Romford.
the state
That's where I
Eastern
went.
state schools. I'm just saying, like, there's fee-paying schools
Yeah.
that you go to, and every single person there is the child of someone with connection to an industry. You end up working in that industry, and you waltz into that industry. YouTube didn't exist.
No.
Yeah.
It's not like JJ launched a channel and said, "Hey, YouTube CEO, can you give me a quick boost in the
Sort me out,
algo?"
we'll quick
Like, they were
investment.
trying to delete your channel, man. They were
You
trying
took
to
investment
educate
from
you.
your parents as well, right?
What they're trying to get to here, mainly the Sidemen, is there was no easy come up for them either. KSI's channel was getting age restricted videos. He didn't just become an industry plant and get a massive leg up into the industry. They actually graft on YouTube day by day and build up
Facts.
a massive platform. And they was there in the early years when it was a lot tougher on YouTube. People were giving Ethan backlash, saying that he had a podcast with his partner but ended it because the clips would go viral for all the wrong reasons. They would talk about what either he was saying or they were saying too seriously, or the clips would be taken out of context, and he's still so sensitive. I was wondering why they went quiet. That podcast between Faith and Ethan, I was covering stuff. Anything she was saying was going viral. People was dragging her in the comments. She was on the Shade Bar like every other week. Anything they
Yeah, look, this whole podcast that Ethan had with his missus, it was going viral. Maybe it's for the wrong reasons, but like, yo, you're getting views, bro. You're getting paid off of it. Isn't that not the whole point of the podcast in the first place? Get your missus a job and that. Like, yeah, she's going viral. Maybe she couldn't hack it. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But at the same time, yeah, she was going viral all the time. Like, there was that clip of her dancing with Wes Nelson or something, which is mental. Like, what the fuck is going on there? Like, she, to be honest, bro, she was walking herself into situations where people are just gonna judge you because you're, I don't know, I think they're married. Are they married? They got a kid and that. I don't know if they're married, but like, you got a husband or a boyfriend who you got a family with, and like, you're making these little disrespectful comments that girls do sometimes, like calling people hot and that in front of your boyfriend, like you might think that's funny to you and your girls or whatever, your mum and that, and you might think, yeah, it's a little bit of banter, but like how boys perceive that and how their mates perceive that and how the people in the comments watching it perceive that is basically your girlfriend's disrespecting you in front of your face, why are you with her type shit. So it's like, that seems like the reason she was going viral all the time, because she's just doing that type of stuff and not clocking how it comes across to men. And maybe that's why the podcast has gone quiet. Maybe she couldn't deal with all the backlash that she was getting from the dumb shit that she was saying, that obviously boys are just going to be like, bruv, chat to your missus, like she's talking mad. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's getting picked up by Wes Nelson and that on dancing. It's mad. But anyway, I don't know. You tell me what you think on this whole situation. What do you think about Maya Jama clapping back at the Sidemen? Do you think she was in the wrong in the first place for what she said? It seemed a little bit like, from just that particular clip, not the full podcast, it seemed a little bit like she was bitter, maybe kind of throwing shade at them having a better upbringing than her, and kind of saying, like, you're already rich, well done for getting rich again. But obviously she's cleared it up and said, well done on being rich. It still seemed a little bit bitter if you ask me, but obviously she's cleared it up. But she's also saying to Ethan, mind how you're talking, and obviously he told her to shut up, so that is fair enough. But who do you guys think is in the right and who's in the wrong? Because it seems like Ethan is trying to insinuate that he came from the mud too, talking about selling drugs, stealing them from his dad, and having to sell them in the alleyway across from his house, and not going to a private school. It's just KSI and Simon. So he seems like he's trying to basically say, look, I came from the mud too, don't disregard my hard work, sort of thing. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments on who you think is in the right and the wrong. I want to know all your thoughts and opinions in the comments. I'm out for now. Make sure you subscribe to Honcho's House. We out. Grrr,